It's time to join Dan and Angie in getting to know the small business owners and artists in your town. Small biz is where it is. Let's support our community by shopping small, keeping it local, and keeping things all fine and dangy.
Hello, and welcome to our small business community podcast.
Oh, I like that. We never say that.
No?
No.
I felt a little bit like I was doing the tone of the Sweaty Wiener girls from the Saturday Night Live skit. I felt like that was the tone of my voice, kind of.
You just aged yourself also.
Well, some people will know that reference. That was, I think that was Alec Baldwin on SNL. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hi,
Welcome
guys.
to the show.
Welcome to the show. If you're new here, we meet every week, sometimes just Angie and I, to talk about the local small businesses that we've been visiting and supporting now in the Asheville, North Carolina area, mostly. And other weeks we meet with actual business owners of small businesses in the area. So if you're welcome, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you're not welcome. No, I'm just kidding. Well, everyone's welcome, but thank you guys for joining us today. And we've had some fun over the past week or so.
We have. So we're working on our new format. So trying to get a little more precise with the businesses and the places that we visit.
That's right.
We had like a very short and sweet little adventure this weekend, but it was fun. It's definitely fun.
It was fun. And, you know, up here in Asheville, North Carolina, the seasons are changing and it's starting to get nice and cool and we can start to see fall. And we're from Florida.
Yeah, leaves are actually starting to fall.
Yeah, get it?
And the colors are changing. It's
Already.
starting already.
Yeah.
So,
and the temperature, God, it's been like in the 50s in the morning and getting up to the mid 70s. So our friends back in Florida are like, we hate you guys because they're sweating so bad still, but it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of ties into the hiking and stuff we've been doing because it's been so nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can't make an excuse not to go. I mean, we're even going when it's hot out because it's still, you know, a lot different as far as, you know, weather-wise. But really with the nicer weather coming around, I've noticed a lot more people out and about too. I have actually had this place on our list of things to kind of check out. One of the things I've been really wanting to get to is more of the waterfalls. And I guess we have to get a little better with just knowing geographically in our area what there is. But I did notice that when you look for waterfalls, everything tends to be over in the Brevard area here in North Carolina.
Yep.
And one of the more popular one is called Looking Glass Falls. That's where we went this weekend. And it's a real easy one to get to. And I think that's why it is so popular. It's because if somebody's a little more limited in how far they can walk or if they can't really do a really steep hike or something to get to a waterfall, then this one is literally right off of the Pisgah National Forest little highway. 276, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's one of those few places. And this is also sort of a cry for help from me because we said we were going to go do all this hiking and see all this stuff, and we do, but I don't know what the magic is here.
Because mostly it's like accidental discovery.
It really is, and I have subscribed to the paid version of all trails, and we know where we want to go. Half the time, it doesn't know which trail we're talking about, so those of you locals, if you have any suggestions for us on how to find a trail, because there's been many times we drove to a little town or drove to a little spot, and we can't find the trail. We're from Florida. We're used to a big giant blinking visitor sign, but anything.
Yeah, and I think it's more here. It's like it's a little mile marker sign or something that we're supposed to be looking for.
Yeah.
Which if you don't really have a trained eye for it, you don't know. So I'm almost wondering if somebody has some info out there of like almost like a trail guide class you can take or something. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be. And I mean,
somebody local teaches.
Great example is Joe Campbell, our first guest here in North Carolina. He told us about a really cool place to go, and he sent me what I thought was going to be address and its coordinates. And I'm like, wow, that's how
I bet there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
You know, because that's kind of how even get to Looking Glass Falls. It's like, oh, you just go down this road and it's, you know, here's the GPS location and
it's
coordinates.
Like
and you're
no
like,
address.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. But we found it anyway because it was very popular. That's why it was easy to find.
Right off the street. So if you're going, this one's a little different because you cannot miss it. I mean, we drove by it the first time just to see
You'll pass the waterfall and you'll see it.
You'll see the waterfall from your car. So that part's really nice.
Yeah, a lot of parking right alongside the road. So I would suggest if you're starting to go to look for it, that kind of like you can get up closer to the falls to park. But if you find a parking spot, you might want to go ahead and take it.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, we would circle back around and then
we
parked.
had to flip around. Yep.
And we had quite the walk up to the thing after that, but it was kind of nice. And like I said, it's really nice up here right now. And you just kind of walk between the road and the drop off, and eventually you'll hit the sidewalk and take the stairs down to the base of the waterfall. And it's beautiful. You can bring your dogs down there. It was really fun.
You know, disclaimer, there are quite a few stairs, concrete stairs that are built to get down to the rocky part at the bottom of the falls. So, you know, there is like a handrail. So if you are more limited, you can take your time and kind of get down and up the stairs. But just like a heads up for people that are maybe a little more limited, or you have little kids, or, you know, whatever it may be, if you have some issues with, you know, walking, you know, up and down too many flights of stairs. So
exactly. And I'll tell you, if you're in like a wheelchair or you have a loved one in a wheelchair, they do have like a viewing, let's call it like a balcony at the top. So you could go out there and you could see the waterfall. And, you know, all the spot down there, you just can't get down to it. But it's really cool little spot.
It was really fun to kind of get on all the little rocks down there right at the base of the waterfall. And then what's really cool is you have like all that spray that's kind of coming up off of the waterfall, and you can feel it falling on you.
Loved it. All the like a mist in the air, like a cool mist. Everyone's
really cool.
Everyone's got their phones out taking pictures, and all the lenses are covered in, you know, water and stuff. So
the dogs had a great time exploring down there.
They really did, yeah.
There was lots of other dogs down there. It was a nice little like, okay, great to see a waterfall. But I'm excited to kind of get into some of the ones that are a little you know, farther off the beaten path, and you have to do the little hike up to them.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
You got to earn it. But I think that is the area in Brevard where there is a lot of waterfalls within a kind of a short distance from each other. So we'll start doing some more exploring over in that area.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that. One more thing about Looking Glass Falls that we should mention is when you do get to the bottom of those stairs, you have to walk out on the rocks to get to the base of the waterfall. Some of them are loose, some of them aren't. But, you know, just to be prepared, I recommend hiking shoes for sure.
Something with some grip.
Slip down.
Yeah, not your flip-flops.
Yeah, but really fun. Really cool. You can get in the water, too, if you want to. Some people did up there.
Yeah, I probably would have gotten the water if I knew we weren't going other places and, you know, would have been all wet and muddy by the time we got there. But it was very refreshing feeling. Like I put my hand in the water a few times. Chilly, but very refreshing.
Yeah.
There's something about these rivers up here that it is just, and it feels like, you know, the water is really good for you as well because of all the minerals in it.
It feels like you could just drink it. I don't know that I would, but it feels like. But then, you know, we're like, let's go get some lunch before we go, you know, do something else with the dogs. And we're new to Brevard. We hadn't really kind of just charged out there without a plan, which is really fun sometimes. We just knew we wanted to go to Looking Glass Falls. So we called a friend who lives in Brevard. We're lucky enough to have a friend that lives up there. And she told us about Ecusta Brewing Company, if I'm saying that right. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool. It's it's a big warehouse type building, and they have a kitchen. I thought it was going to be like a food truck, but they actually have a kitchen. Delicious food at this place. Great beer, dog friendly, nice place to sit outside. You can kind of see the mountains around the edge if you sit on the side. And it was that was a really fun
nice
place.
Little view. Yeah, I did notice that they're located right outside a bike path there in Brevard.
Yeah, the paved bike path.
Yeah, the Brevard bike path, which we haven't seen many of those kind of longer paved bike paths. So that might be something we go do one day.
Yeah, for sure.
And I did read that they're located in one of the last standing buildings of the old paper mill that was in that town.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. And if you actually look at the building, you can tell that it is like the old brick, and they've kind of incorporated their sign right into that to make it look oldie looking. So I really like those old historic buildings.
I do
definitely.
too. In fact, I thought it was a new building that they had kind of tried to make it look like that. No. So that's very cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool that they did that. But the whole little outside area, like you said, the porch area you can sit on. There's tons of picnic tables that you can sit on. Very dog friendly. There were so many people. We met another corgi there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did. That's right.
Clark with an E.
How cool is that? And it was a girl,
It was a girl.
Clark.
She was the sweetest little corgi. Yeah.
But their balcony, I mean, it's one of those really wide wraparound balconies. So it goes across the front of the building and then kind of down both sides. It doesn't go across the back that I could see. But, it's big enough to have like dining tables at it on both sides. So it's like their outdoor seating area is up on the balcony. And then also down in front of that balcony porch on the ground, there's more, tables.
Yeah.
There's also
That's where
seating
we
inside.
sat.
Yeah, that is. Mm-hmm. There's seating inside too, and there's a nice big bar you can sit around. So it's got that really nice
tap room feel.
Open feel. And then they've got, like I said, the window where you just go over and order from a place called Gordingo's that they must be partnering with.
Yeah. They've been there for years, I think. And we thought it was going to be a food truck, but it's actually a built-in kitchen.
It is. And we got the jerk chicken loaded burrito bowl, and they were very honest because I said, well, I think we're both going to get this bowl. Is it shareable? And she said, absolutely. And I'm glad we did because it's a lot of food.
Which we've learned we need to just start sharing our food anyway because we always, our stomachs are bigger than our eyes.
We can always go back and
bigger than our stomachs.
That's my fault usually because I'm like, no, I'm really hungry. And then
I'm going to eat every bite.
And I feel like I have to eat it.
And he eats less than me. So we could have shared it, definitely. But we also got the Points North Porter. We both ordered, actually, when we went to order, we got the same exact thing like we always do.
Yeah.
We're like, what are you going to get? Oh, same thing as I am. So we might as well share it anyway. But their porter was really good.
Oh, it was delicious. Yeah, we lean, as you guys know that have been listening, we definitely lean into the dark beers. They have a stout there too. If we were going to stay for another beer, I probably would have got that, but we just had the one.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice little stop. So if you're in the Brevard area, you got to go there, support local, small business, really nice place. And it was really cool to try that one out. And then we're thinking, okay, we really didn't go on a hike yet, even though it kind of felt like one going down the 2,000 stairs.
We got to wear these pups out.
Yeah. So on the way back to the brewery, we actually passed Sycamore Flats picnic area. And if you're following that Pisgah Road, and if you look at on a map, if you look at how to get to Looking Glass Falls, it'll show you like the state road name, and then I guess the common name is Pisgah Road or Pisgah Boulevard, but it's right off of that street. So it's
very well marked too.
Very
so
well
you
marked.
can find it very easily.
Yeah, it's almost like if you're heading from the brewery back to the falls, it's in between the two.
Yeah.
But nice little picnic area.
Yeah.
Looked like it was also maybe a campground.
Yeah, I think so. The bike path ran through there because we've noticed a lot of bikers out. I think they were doing some kind of event that weekend.
I really want to go back and try this bike path because when we went to the picnic area, we walked to the edge of this big area where you could sort of camp or do a picnic or grill, and there's grills everywhere and picnic tables everywhere. But there's these stairs that go down into the river every, 30, 40, maybe 200 feet max. And at each stop, when you go down into the river, you can see bicycles on the other side of the river flying by, clearly on a paved path, even though you can't quite see it.
Yeah, you could tell by like the speed that they're going. Plus, you didn't hear any of the gravel flying all around. So.
But how cool is that to have a bike trail with those kinds of scenes? Coming from Florida, I'm not used to that. But, you can just head on down, go down this flat-ish paved bike trail, and you're looking at the river right next to you. Really neat.
I love that. And they got to see the pups swimming in the river. Those dogs were having a ball. And I love it because it's shallow enough to where they can you can throw a stick out, they can go out, not get caught in a current where it's going to take them away. And even if it did, you could get to them fast enough. So it's a safe spot for your pups. Of course, we let them off the leash. I don't know if you're supposed to.
You're not.
We
do.
We
always look for other dogs. We look for our dogs are so friendly.
There's so many people that do that up here, though. And as long as you have well-behaved dogs and everybody else's is well-behaved and nobody's afraid of dogs, then I think you're in the safe zone.
I think so, too. And they just do so much better. But they loved it. They run and play in the water. And it's funny because Angie and I, we say, oh, it's fine. But you can tell the dogs are smart enough. But if they went all the way to the middle or other side of the river, there's definitely a couple spots where the current would get them. So we're kind of ready at a moment's notice to just tear off to the river and swim out there and get him if we had to.
Yeah, but also our dogs kind of get in panic mode where they're like, oh no, this is too much. And they start
circling back.
Like, get me back to the shore with my parents. Like I don't want to be out here too long. But I would definitely take them back to that area because I just felt like so comfortable. Sit a couple chairs out there, bring a little picnic. Yeah. And and just let them have some fun.
Let them wear themselves out. Yeah. So it's a great place to go if you want to go picnic. I would say if you want to go camp, there is an actual campground that's a little further down up, I should say, towards the falls.
Yeah.
That's officially marked a campground. In fact, we turned around in the campground. But I believe you can also camp here. You'd have to look it up to be sure. In any case, really neat place. It definitely
looked like some, cleared out spots for tenting.
It did look like that, yeah. But in any case, just really cool spot, really, really cool area to go visit. And we really enjoyed it. We'll definitely be back.
Yeah. So we were even wore out by the end of that. Don't know why. It didn't really do
I mean, it is a lot of climbing up and down. I
guess. And I do suppose when you are in the river, you're doing a lot of balancing acts on the rocks and stuff if you're trying not to fall in. So definitely it is kind of like a workout as far as balancing as your body goes. But yeah, it was, so we came home and chilled out and did some reading because we've been doing a lot of that.
We have gotten back into reading again.
I'm very happy because I was doing a little too much binging on the TV at night.
You know what's funny is we went to see Deadpool 3 at the theater over by the Biltmore a few weeks ago. And as we're kind of just goofing around after walking around, we got ice cream and then we went into the local bookstore there. And I have not been into an actual brick and mortar bookstore in forever. Walking in there, the smell of the books, if you're a reader, you get what I'm saying. And I just got so jazzed about reading again. But the funny thing is, Angie buys herself a book. Mm-hmm. I buy myself a book.
A young adult fiction book, of
That's
course.
Right. What's the name of the series you're reading? Do you know?
It doesn't really have a name of the series, but the first one was called Crave, and then the next one was called Crush.
Nice.
It's like a Harry Potter meets Twilight. Don't judge me. Hey, it's like 600 pages long.
Yeah.
So it is a thick book.
It's a big book. And I bought a Chuck Palahniuk book. He's the guy that wrote Fight Club, my favorite story. He's one of my favorite writers. But the funny thing is, we get home and I read like 10 pages of my book and I'm like, I got to get back on my Kindle. I don't like paper. I like the smell and the idea, but I like the ease of use of a digital device. So I ended up trading my old Kindles in because they barely worked, got the new, super inexpensive. Like if you're in the market for a Kindle or an e-reader, the basic model from Amazon, I mean, the very bare bones model, it's like 60 or 80 bucks. I think I paid 60 after my credit, and it's awesome. It does everything you ever wanted to do. But now I have been tearing through books on that thing too.
Yes, you have. And I want to say I've been tearing through mine too, because I've been reading like one a week.
Yours are bigger than mine, but I do what now?
What? Huh?
But it's really fun. I'm excited to finish the second book that I'm reading too. Not a series, but I just read Insomnia. There's probably a million of those, but it's by Sarah something or other. Very much like the books I write, where it's really a mystery thriller with a hint of supernatural, which is very hard to find. So I really enjoyed that book.
I do prefer more of a series. Because especially if I read the first one and I really like it, I want more. Yeah. So I would prefer a series if I'm going to read a book.
I get it. That's super common.
Yep.
But anyway, we've been reading more, been watching less. I have been wanting to go to breakfast one morning since we moved here in December. And we finally did. We went to Sunny Point Cafe in Asheville. It was recommended by someone that Angie had ran into.
Yep, a local. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it was...
I trust the locals' opinions.
It was spectacular. So if you
we're not quite locals yet. No. So we're still kind of tourists.
But if you plan on going, I will tell you that parking is tricky, like a lot of things in downtown Asheville. So you kind of just have to keep looping until you find a spot.
Get there early.
Yeah, that would have been a trick for us. We got there, 9?
Yeah, I think they open at 8. That would be a good time to get there. I think you could get parking a little closer.
Yeah.
But parking is a little tricky in Asheville. The roads are very narrow. There's not a lot of like side street parking.
Yeah.
So it's about learning the area, I guess, or the times to get there.
For sure. But you could tell the place is hopping. There's a lot of people waiting outside. So I think we had like a 30-minute wait. They let you get a coffee while you're waiting. It's a beautiful outdoor sitting area.
Lots of little nook areas, right? Yeah. Like I loved that they had all these little picnic tables to sit at and these just little seating areas all throughout the little corner piece of property that they have right there.
And they have a lot of property for a little breakfast place downtown. You're like, you keep walking and you're like, wow, another spot. But breakfast was spectacular.
Amazing.
Angie and I both ordered the same thing. We got the Mighty Good breakfast.
Could have split it.
My favorite thing was they have pancakes that are made with carrot cake. They're called carrot hotcakes. And they are spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, we even brought them home. Instead of, normally you eat half your pancakes at a restaurant. You're not going to bring the other half home.
Well, we had a nice conversation with a couple next to us, and she said, get the carrot hotcakes.
Yes.
I'm taking mine home because they are so good. So when somebody is like enthusiastic like that, you're like, okay, I got to add that to it.
Got to have it.
Yeah. But anyway, breakfast was amazing. Service was amazing. It's a very communal indoor sitting area. So that the tables are very close to each other. So I like to let people know that because some people like a little more privacy when they're dining. I like that feel where it's like you're kind of right on top of people.
I do too.
Because we like to chat. We're chatty.
And, I don't think we got any footage in there, but the tables, it reminds me.
That's kind of hard to do that
with people eating, yeah.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of like, if you've ever been to like New York, in Manhattan, I remember going to like a Italian restaurant and the tables are just far enough away from each other so you can slide in, but you're kind of all sitting at the same table.
Yeah.
So you all just start talking to each other throughout the whole meal, which is awesome to me.
Kind of that family dining style anyway.
Yeah.
Like you were all sitting together.
Exactly.
But anyway, if you chose to sit outdoors and just have a coffee or something, they have a little garden area. And they had a lot of little seats. I saw a lot of people sitting in there just having a coffee together, but an actual garden that they use as much from in their menu that they can.
Right.
I talked to the waitress about this, and then they try to get anything from local farms.
You could tell too. I mean,
it's very fresh.
It's so fresh and delicious, and their garden area is beautiful. It's huge, and you can see where they grow a lot of their own fruits and vegetables, but also their spices and and there's flowers and stuff in there too. But we're walking around, it just keeps going on, and it's done really eclectic with like all these hand painted signs, and some of it's really manicured, and some of it's kind of wild, and it's really neat. Hard to explain, but very neat.
Makes me want a garden again. I think I could grow a garden up here.
Well, we should plan on that when we get settled into our new place.
Yeah, in our own place. I would definitely like to try a little bit at a time just to make sure. Like we like to go all in whenever we do something, but I say let's start little.
You mean like our last garden where we cleared out a spot and put all this stuff in, and
it was really fun, lots of hard work.
Yeah,
and then
it was a lot of hard work.
Almost everything. But anyway, this place is also dog friendly, and we didn't bring the pups with us, but we saw lots of people that did.
Yes, and we might bring them sometime, but we're trying to do, you have to do, we're learning that you almost have to, as much as we love our dogs, who are, by the way, asleep right next to us here, you got to get out at least once a week or so without the dogs, because it's just kind of nice to focus on each other and just other people and hang out.
Yeah, when you each have a dog in your hand, you're wrangling them, and you're not holding hands or anything because you're wrangling the dog.
Exactly.
So as a couple, it's nice to just be like, they can stay home alone. They're fine.
Right.
I mean, we don't think they are, but they are.
Yeah, they are. Set a stopwatch. I might do that.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. We hope you enjoy the information that we provide you, and please give us some feedback if there are some details that maybe you feel like we're leaving out. Or some more information that you would like us to provide for you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. And remember, please, if you watch the show, if you find it of interest, please consider subscribing to our channel on YouTube. If you're watching the video, we do these every week. We always have a video version of the podcast every week. A like really helps us. A subscribe will really, really help us. And if you follow us on a podcast player, Apple Podcasts is probably our most popular. But again, there, just like on YouTube, if you subscribe, you get notified every time we have a new episode so you don't miss anything. And you find out all about what's going on up here in Asheville, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas.
And yes, thank you guys once again. We do appreciate each and every one of you for supporting us and tuning in each and every week. And remember, at the end of each and every day,
it's all fine and dandy.
Hi guys, we hope you enjoyed the show today. If you did, we would love a review. So make sure to head over to your Apple Podcast app or whatever app you listen to your podcast on and give us a 5-star review. Also, give us a like and a follow on our social media. You can find that all under Fine and Danjee. And if you want to find out more about our guest or about us, head over to fineanddanjee.com.